celebrate a certain holiday with you. So I don't know if you know what day it is today. It might be actually tomorrow. To be for November 20th. I don't know what time you'll see this, but I'm celebrating with you wherever you are. So the first book I'm going to read about today is called I Am Jazz. I am jazz. Might be kind of a hint as to our craft. Right there. I am jazz. I think jazz is the group, not the mermaid. Yeah, okay. For as long as I can remember, my favorite color has been pink. My second favorite color is silver. My third favorite color is green. Is your favorite color pink? No? Maybe? Yeah. My favorite color, I have to say like kind of like grayish blue, you know, like blue gray, you know. I used to have this crayon when I was like a long time ago, and it's called Dolphin Blue, and it was supposed to be sort of like the color that dolphins are. Yeah. Here are some of my other favorite things to do. Dancing. Oh, is she dancing in one of these? Dancing, singing, backflips, drawing, soccer, swimming, makeup, and pretending I'm a pop star. Let's see. I think she's singing there, right? Looks like she's drawing. Her playing soccer, doing, I don't think that's a backflip, that's a cartwheel, I think. Singing. This also might be dancing, or this might be dancing too. I don't know. What do you like to do? I like to read. Sometimes I like to draw, but I'm not very good at drawing. I still like doing it anyways. Most of all, I love mermaids. Sometimes I even wear a mermaid tail in the pool. Ah, she's a little mermaid too. Mermaid tail would be cool. My best friends are Samantha and Casey. We always have fun together. We like high heels and princess gowns, or cartwheels and trampolines. Oh, there they go. Yeah, see, these are cartwheels, right? Looks like they're jumping up and down, but let's see a trampoline. Ever play on a trampoline? Yeah. I never had a trampoline, but my neighbor had one, and I used to sometimes go over and bounce up and down on his trampoline. But I'm not exactly like Samantha and Casey. Well, I have a girl brain, but a boy body. This is called transgender. I was born this way. You can see some pictures of Jazz. Sad when she's dressed more like a boy, and more happy when she's in dresses. So I'm going to pull up a little picture here for our first vocab word. Okay. So the first thing we need to do, gender. Gender means if you're a boy or a girl, if people call you he or she or they. Yeah, so this is our little picture for gender. You have these are sometimes where you see them. Yeah, usually on like bathrooms. These are other symbols. Sometimes they're used. Here we go. This is Transgender Day of Remembrance. This image is for the holiday, which is November 20th, which might be tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this, because you can go back and watch it whenever, I guess. But as you see, Sometimes the colors pink and blue and white are used for transgender people, kind of like on a flag or something. There we go. And here's a picture of someone who is maybe is born and is born a boy, but when they grow up, they realize that they're actually a girl. And that's what transgender means. It's when you are born with one gender, right? And then when you grow up, you realize you want that you're a different gender. So here we have the thing here. All right, and we will come back here. All right. When I was very little and my mom would say, "You're such a good boy," I would say, "No, Mama, good girl." At first, my family was confused. They'd always thought of me as a boy. Yeah. As I got a little older, I hardly ever played with trucks or tools or superheroes, only princesses and mermaid costumes. My brothers told me this was girl stuff. I kept right on playing. It's because Jazz is a girl. People just don't know it yet. My sister, says I was always talking to her about my girl thoughts and my girl dreams and how one day I'd be a beautiful lady. She would giggle and say, "You're a funny kid." Sometimes my parents would let me wear my sister's dresses around the house. Whenever we went out, I had to put on my boy clothes again. This made me mad. Still, I never gave up on trying to convince them. Pretending I was boy just felt like telling a lie. She wants to be dressed up as, I think, yeah, that's ballet. Right? You know, when they go like, they're on their tiptoes and they're like, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, and they spin around. Yeah, looks like she wants to be doing ballet instead. Then one day, everything changed. Mom and Dad took me to meet a new doctor who asked me lots and lots of questions. Afterwards, the doctor spoke to my parents and I heard the word transgender for the first time. That night at bedtime, my parents both hugged me and said, "We understand now. Be who you are. We love you no matter what." This made me smile and smile and smile. Mom and Dad told me I could start wearing girl clothes to school and growing my hair long. They even let me change my name to Jazz. Being Jazz felt much more like being me. Oh, look, she's a cheerleader with the other girls now. Yeah. Mom said that being Jazz would make me different from the other kids at school, but that being different is okay. What's important, she said, is that I'm happy with who I am. Sometimes it's hard to be happy with who you are, and sometimes it takes time, but you know, it's still important to try to be happy with who you are. Being Jazz caused some other people to be confused too, like the teachers at school. She's explaining to the teacher. At the beginning of the year, they wanted me to use the boys' bathroom and play in the boys' team in gym class, but that didn't feel normal to me at all. I was so happy when the teachers changed their minds. I can't imagine not being able to play on the same team as Casey and Samantha. Even today, there are kids who tease me or call me by a boy name or ignore me altogether. This makes me feel crummy. Yeah, I'm not very nice to her. Sometimes people aren't very nice to her. What do you think she'll do? Well, it says here, then I remember that the kids who get to know me usually want to be my friend. They say I'm one of the nicest girls at school. You think that makes her feel better? It makes me feel better. I don't mind being different. Different is special. I think what matters most is what a person is like inside. And inside, I am happy, I am having fun, I am proud. I am Jazz. All right. Well, moving on to, we'll do this one. This one's about becoming an older brother. I don't know how many of you are older brothers or older sisters or younger brothers or younger sisters. I'm an older brother myself. I remember becoming one. My sister, I had a little baby sister, and she used to cry all night. I remember I used to ask my mom, Mom, why is she nocturnal? Which means like a bat, like that she stays up all night and sleeps during the day. Yeah, I still laugh at that about that today, but she now sleeps during the nighttime and is awake during the daytime. When Aiden became a brother. Oh, I had to see because it's such a shiny cover. Yeah. When Aiden was born, everyone thought he was a girl. His parents gave him a pretty name. His room looked like a girl's room, and he wore clothes that other girls liked wearing. See, he's dressed up like he's a girl, kind of like Jazz was dressed up like she was a boy. But both of them, I think, we'll see, are not happy with being like this. But as Aiden got bigger, he hated the sound of his name. He felt like his room belonged to someone else, and he always ripped or stained his clothes accidentally on purpose. Yeah, I don't think my parents would be happy if I did that, but you know, accidentally on purpose, you know, sometimes you say like, I did that by accident on purpose. And it's like, and then your parents might say by accident or on purpose. And you do it on purpose, but you don't really want them to be mad at you for doing things on purpose. Everyone thought I was just a different kind of girl. Some girls had rooms full of science experiments and bug collections. Lots of girls didn't wear dresses. He's wearing a dress, but they're girls and they're not wearing dresses. But Aiden didn't feel like any kind of girl. He was really just another kind of boy. So earlier, right, we saw someone who was transgender, who was born a boy, but was actually a girl. And now we see someone who was born as a girl, but then figured out later that they were a boy. So a girl, someone who is born as a boy or born where their parents think that they're a boy, and then later realize that they're a girl, is called, they're called transgender women, or transgender girl, or transgender lady, you know, anything that you say, what they are girls or women or ladies or whatever you say, gals, that kind of stuff. If someone is born and they think that they're a girl, but later they realize that they're a boy, then they are called a transgender man or transgender boy, a transgender guy, or a transgender dude. You can also have but you know, you get the point. Normally though, you just call them a boy or a girl or a woman or a man or a lady or a gentleman. People don't really say gentleman very much, except when they're at the circus, right? They say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you know. But people don't really say that normally, I guess. All right, so let's go back. It was hard to tell his parents what he knew about himself. It was even harder not to. It took everyone some time to adjust, and they learned a lot from other families with transgender kids like him. And look, they're all playing. The parents are eating at a picnic. It's been a long time since I've had a picnic. A few months. It's kind of getting a little cold now. A great time to have a picnic. Aiden explored different ways of being a boy. He tried out lots of names and until one stuck. They changed his bedroom into a place where he belonged. He also took much better care of his new clothes. These don't have as much mud on them or as ripped. No, doesn't have. His toys are a little different. He still has a bunny and stuff, but he also has hammers and tools, you know. Then one day, Mom and Dad had something to tell him. I'm going to have a baby, Mom announced. A baby, Aiden said. Does that mean I get to be the big brother? Of course, said Dad, ruffling his hair. Aiden thought that being a big brother was important. It was an important job for a boy like him. He wanted to make sure this baby would feel understood right away. Oh, yeah, they seem very happy. Look, little cat here, going after the leaves, I think. Oh, there's a little bee. It's kind of hard to see. I think that's what the cat's thinking about. The baby needed clothes, so Aiden and his mom went shopping. There were so many choices. Would the baby like seahorses or penguins better? What do you think? Seahorses or penguins? It's a tricky choice. I didn't know I kind of like, I don't know, I don't think I'd be able to pick. I think I kind of like both. But this one has more penguins on it. So I think I'd like the penguin one more than the seahorse one. But I think I'd like both of them. Are you having a boy or a girl? Asked a lady. Aiden didn't like it when people asked if he was a boy or a girl, and he hoped the baby couldn't hear yet. He was glad when Mom just smiled and said, I'm having a baby. The baby's room needed to be painted, so Aiden and his dad went to the hardware store. Dad chose a gallon of sky blue paint and Aiden added a puffy cloud white. Are you excited for your new brother or sister? Asked the paint guy. I'm excited to be a big brother, Aiden said. The paint guy looked confused. Aiden could tell that he wanted to ask a different question and was glad to have his dad there. Oh, wow, look at that. That's the room. I wish I had a room that looked like that. Mine's kind of boring and see all these white walls and stuff. The big rollers were fun to paint with. This room feels just like being outside, Aiden exclaimed. He had always felt trapped in his bedroom before they fixed it, but his new sibling wouldn't have to feel that way. You're right, said Dad. Let's make some shapes in the clouds. Okay, let's look at the different shapes here. Okay, let's see here. I think this one's a dolphin. Some kind of fish. This one I think is a bird. Are there any others you see? I don't know. Some of these, oh, I think that's kind of like a dog. Right? You can kind of see it. No. Sometimes I look at shapes in the clouds. Do you like to do that? Yeah. It's not a bad thing to do sometimes during the summer or when it's warmer, so you can lay down and point up at the sky and try to see what kind of shapes and stuff you see. A lot of times I look at it and I see dragons or I see little people or different kinds of things. Every baby needs a name. Aiden loved getting to choose his own, but he remembered that it had been hard for his parents to let go of the name he gave him. He looked for names that would fit this new person no matter who they grew up to be. Yeah. So look at Aiden's different ideas. Willow, Sage. pine, oak, sky, forest. Some of these are kind of weird, but a lot of them are pretty good. I know a lot of people named Sky. Like quite a few. Moss, cloud, rain, river, leaf. I knew someone named Leaf actually. Um, Rain and river are both pretty good names. I like cloud. Cloud's pretty nice. I've heard of someone named Cloud. Forest, pine oak. Pine oak's a little long, but yeah, it's okay. Babies need someone to read to them. So Aiden practiced and practice and practice. Oh, that doesn't look safe. I don't like to read in the bathtub. I'm always afraid I'm gonna drop the book. That's why I especially don't do it with library books because you're borrowing them, right? What do you think Aiden will, do you also like to read? Yeah, I'm reading to you now, but I'm not your big brother. I am a big brother though, so it's good that I got practice. Dad wanted to teach Aiden how to change diapers. Maybe later, said Aiden. He decided that picking flowers for his mom was more important. Those are very pretty flowers. I wouldn't like changing diapers either. I did not want to learn when my sister was born. 2 weeks before the baby's due date, Aiden started to worry. Maybe he should have picked different clothes. The blue walls might be too bright. He wished he could ask the baby which name they liked best. Aw, he's all tucked in, he's worrying. Oh, that's a little cool hat. Or bandana? Scarf? No. Bonnet, maybe? Is bonnet the right word? Mom came to tuck him in. Are you feeling okay, sweetie? She asked. Aiden put his hands over where he thought the ears would be. Oh, he's plugging the baby's little ears. The baby might not have ears. Sometimes you don't kind of grow out of order. So they might not even hear it, even if the baby does have ears. Aiden put his hands over where he thought the baby's ears would be. Do you think the baby will be happy with everything? He whispered. I don't want them to feel like I did when I was little. But what if I get everything wrong? What if I don't know how to be a good big brother? Aiden's feeling nervous because when he was born, it was very hard for him because people thought that he was a girl. He's worried that his new baby sibling might also feel worried like that. Mom hugged him tight. When you were born, we didn't know you were going to be our son. We made some mistakes, but you helped us fix them. And you taught us how important it is to love someone exactly how they are. For exactly who they are. The baby is so lucky to have you, and so are we. The next morning, Aiden found the boxes of his old baby pictures. He looked so different back then. If it hadn't been easy, but he liked the boy he was growing into. Maybe everything wouldn't be perfect for this baby. Maybe he would have to fix mistakes he didn't even know he was making. And maybe that was okay. It's a baby. Aiden knew how to love someone, and that was the most important part of being a brother. Aw, yeah, that's a nice chair. I'm gonna actually read a little here from the author. When I was born, everyone thought I was a girl, but my story is very different from Aiden's. I don't have a little sibling, but I do have a big brother. I liked wearing dresses, and it took me much longer to discover that I was a boy. Sometimes people take longer and don't realize when they're kids. Some people don't realize until they're my age, or some people don't realize until they're, your grandparents' age. It's never too late to sort of to reconsider and think maybe I'm actually a different gender. Gender, if we remember, is boy is like if you're called, you know, he or she or they. Yeah. Of course, some parts of my story are very much like Aiden's. He says, that might be true for you too. If you're a kid who is transgender like Aiden, or transgender but not like Aiden, I hope this story helps you understand what you're feeling and helps you talk about it if you're ready. You might also feel like Aiden in other ways. He knows what it's like to not belong. You may feel that way sometimes too. People don't always see Aiden how he wants to be seen, and you might know what that feels like too. Maybe you worry about making mistakes. Aiden is a transgender kid, but he is also a kid just like you. Life for Aiden and for all different kinds of kids will be full of growth and change. I don't know where the future holds for him, but I hope he lives in a world that supports and believes in him. Thank you for helping create that world. So sometimes people make mistakes, but you know, it's never too late to try to help and fix them. Now, our last book, and this is going to cue you in more into what our craft is. It's called Julian is a Mermaid. We remember Jazz earlier, she liked putting on a mermaid tail and swimming around. I wish I had a mermaid tail, that'd be cool. I'd like to swim around. Underwater, yeah. I like to play in the swimming pool. Oh, looks like they might be some of the mermaids. This boy is named Julian, and this is his abuela. Abuela, if we remember from last week, I think we talked about it too. Abuela means grandma in Spanish. And those are some mermaids. Huh? Oh, mermaids. They're wearing little mermaid tails. I don't think they don't actually live underwater, but you know, they're dressed up as mermaids. Julian loves mermaids. He's just sitting there, and now he's swimming underwater. Swimming. Wow. Look at that. All these different fish. There's a little octopus there, some tentacles. That's kind of looks like a koi or goldfish. That's a stingray or manta ray. Jellyfish there. Some jellyfish back there too. There she is. She's swimming around. Huh? Ooh, it's a big fish. Oh, I love giant fish like that. And she's offering Julian a little necklace. Vámonos, mijo. This is our stop. Oh, she's taking him off the train. Now they're walking away. The mermaids are waving back to Julian. Julian's waving back. They're playing in the some birds playing in the water. Abuela, did you see the mermaids? I saw them, mijo. Abuela, I am also a mermaid. I'm going to take a bath. You be good. It does look like he's up to a little trouble. You think he's gonna sneak out maybe and become a mermaid? I guess we'll see. Julian has a good idea. Let's see if it's good. Takes off his shirt, takes off his pants, so he's wearing his underwear. Don't laugh, I just said underwear. Oh, look, he's taking some plants and he puts them on his head. Oh, kind of like hair, like kind of mermaid hair. And then he takes some flowers and he puts the flowers in his hair too. He puts on some lipstick. Oh, there's a curtain. Oh geez. He's taking the curtain now too and making it into a dress. Or not into a dress. I think this is like the tail. Yeah. I don't know if my mom would be, or my grandma would be too happy if I took down her curtain, but we'll see. Oh. He doesn't look too happy. Uh-oh. Yeah, I kind of worried. He looks kind of nervous. Come here, mijo. For me, abuela? For you, Julian. She's giving him a necklace to go with his mermaid stuff. Just like earlier, we saw the, just like earlier we saw the fish give him a necklace. Now they're walking out. Maybe to see the other mermaids. Go to the ocean. Where are we going? You'll see, says Abuela. Mermaids, whispers Julian. Oh, look, they're all dressed like different kinds of sea creatures. Like you, mijo. Let's join them. Oh, wow, there are mermaids and all sorts of different kinds of mermaids. Oh, they're pretty. And they do. Oh, look, they're the mermaids from earlier. In the front, there's the manta, or the stingray. There's some fish. That might be a seahorse or something. I don't know. But yeah, so that's our last book. I have one more vocab word, and then we're going to be doing a little craft with our supplies that we have. Right. So the last vocab word I want to run with you is non-binary. So normally when you think of gender, right, the ones that you see are boys and girls, or man and women. Oh, forgot to show the picture here. Maybe you usually think of boys and girls, or men and women, or dudes and dudettes. But some people, and this might be Julian and it might not, where are neither realize that they're not really boys and they're not really girls. Maybe they're somewhere in between, or, maybe they just like to be called, they don't like to be called he or she. They like to just be called like they, or them, or instead of his or hers, theirs. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that if you like if you're a boy and you like mermaids, that means that you're transgender or you're non-binary. But it is a thing that some people are. So with that, I think we'll start our craft. I'll see you in a second. Well, hello. Nice to see you again. I had to get everything ready. So the first thing we're going to do with that big piece of paper is we're going to draw a mermaid. And our mermaid, we could draw a boy or a girl, or just draw a mermaid. We could draw a fish like the grandma, the abuela from Julian is a mermaid. We're just sort of going to draw the outside of the mermaid. Right? So mermaid's gonna have a tail. This. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? but I will show it to you closer, hopefully. And you can see. You can see what I'm kind of trying to go for. Drawing the little hands now. Okay, here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll make the neck and a head. Turn this way. And sometimes, as you know, you make a few mistakes, like like Aiden's parents did. But when you're done, maybe you have something kind of looking like this, kind of like just a mermaid outline. You can see. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to use our glue stick and some of our decorations. So I'm going to be using these things called sequins. And we're going to, we'll put them, a little mermaid friend here. So I'm going to put some glue where I'm about to put sequins. You can kind of see what. So I'm putting some on the tail. You can put some on your mermaid's tail, or you can put them somewhere else if you want to, like on their hands or their hair. It might look very pretty on the hair. So let's see here. Let's see. I'll add some more kind of around here. Maybe try putting a little glue on the sequin too. So we put the glue stick glue on this sequin and maybe on the paper. So to see what sticks best. Making mine trying to look a little random, just sort of a little kind of disorganized, you know, kind of like you have flowers in nature look, things like that. Yep. This isn't sticking. This keeps sticking to my hand, which is not the mermaid's hand. This one might be too tricky. Let's try a bigger one. Oh, just dropped a pen on it. That's not really wanting to stick for us. Right. So maybe your mermaid's looking something a little like this. You have a mermaid and some sequins on the tail. I'm going to add these special ones that don't need glue, little stickers, kind of. Little jewels. I'm going to add a few to our little mermaid here. Or big mermaid. We might have a big mermaid too. You like mermaids? Girl mermaids, boy mermaids. I like swimming. Yeah. Mermaids swim a lot, I think. Trying to take these two apart. Oof. It's very difficult to tear these each apart. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I added a few more to the tail. I think I'm going to add some to the hair now. Right. I'll add first some of those that you glue on, and then maybe some of the ones that you don't glue on. And I'll add some of the sticky ones. I mean, they're all sticky once I put the glue on them, but these ones are naturally sticky, I guess. Born sticky. But the other ones become sticky too. And they stick to the paper all the same, so not really a big deal. This one's not sticking very well at all. I just need some extra glue. That one doesn't look like it's going to work for us. That's okay. We have lots of other. I'm going to add a little ring to our mermaid. Maybe add a necklace like Julian had. Having some trouble getting the stickers off. Oof. 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 We'll add a little bracelet. Any bracelets? I used to really like those slap-on bracelets. You know, like those slap-on bracelets? Not sure if people still use them today. Used to have them in a prize container if I did well in school. I might be able to get a slap-on bracelet. That might date me a little, but I'm still pretty young. Quite a long way to go. That's okay. Okay. Oh. So this is our mermaid so far. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah. All right. We will add maybe some eyes. These work out. If not, we can figure out something different. Yeah, these aren't looking like they're working out. You see, I put a little one on the belly button. Yeah. All right. Now, this comes to the last part. So we're gonna get our glitter and maybe draw some things using glitter. So make a little design. Try out some gold and silver. I think gold will look good in their hair. What do you think? Yeah. I think we could use some red and blue now. Oh, that's green again. Gotta make sure I'm using the right colors, right? Yeah, okay. Some of that. Now let's go with some blue. I think some blue would look really good on the tail. Maybe add some finishing touches. Put a little blue around a little. That there. Smooth. And then we can either draw a little bit more onto our mermaid, like maybe a mouth and some eyes. I think I'm going to try to do mine to make mine a little more, to add glitter eyes to mine, but you can draw them too. there. You can, if you're careful, you can mess around with the glue a little, try to make shapes better. Yeah. So like that. I think we'll finish it off with little, some hints of gold. You don't have to have all of this stuff. Maybe just you do a little bit, and then you're okay. But I was feeling like spending a lot of time on this one, so this is my mermaid. Yeah. Well, remember, as we know, today is Trans Day of Remembrance to remember people who are transgender, which means that the gender, right, that people think that they are when they're born, other people think that they are when they're born, is maybe not the gender that they grow up to be. And today is a day where we remember and celebrate people who are transgender, who are no longer with us, but there are also celebrations of the people who are transgender and still with us today. All right, well, I hope you like your mermaid. I think that's it for this week. I'll see you all next week for something very exciting. I think we'll have 2 guest readers. Anyways, bye.